I'm Philip Sandstrom. I'm a longtime friend of Dick Connette's. I've seen Dick's work over, 35 years as a composer and later as a producer. I've seen him work with a number of different people producing their work. I don't know Sonya. I know Sonya's work with Dick. And I just wanted to say that the combination of what Sonya brought to the work and what Dick brought forward for Sonya to work on was one of the most complete marriages, artistic marriages, that I've ever experienced. What Dick does when he works with artists makes it very special. What he did with Sonya was more than special. It was connecting an artist who had a particular talent with a particular type of work. He chose it, he nurtured it, he made it happen, and she went along and just shone brightly.
I'm Kahn. I consider myself an old friend of Sonya's, a friend of Dick's, but also I had the good fortune of being one of the few people that actually worked for them professionally in the music business. I, in some ways, was Last Forever's manager. If you can say that someone can manage Last Forever, I gave it a try around the first record time with None Such, and it's one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had. I've only been in music 40 years, and it's all I've ever done, but the music of Last Forever was magical and pure and also interesting and beautiful. And luckily I got to know Sonya through her music, but really got to know her as a person, and I'm just another one to say how beautiful a person she was, and I have always thought of her a lot, even though I've lost touch over about the last 15 years. I think the last time I was with her was in Austin when she had just given birth to her first child. And then I had just kept up through listening to her voice and thinking about her. And now I'm thinking about her even more. She's a one-of-a-kind person, and we really lost a great one. But anyone who's been in contact with Sonya is better for it. And luckily, we all have her voice to be with us for our lives.
My name is Janine.Nichols, and I was the program director for arts at St. Anne's in Brooklyn, which has now become St. Anne's Warehouse, for a period of about 15 years. And during that time, I worked a lot with Kahn, who you just spoke to, and None Such Records, presenting new artists. And he sent me this, I think it was an actual acetate of Last Forever, and I was very, very smitten with it. And I put them on. I put them on as an opening act for Jeff Buckley. And Jeff had that Grace record, was just out, and so he was ascendant. And Last Forever and Jeff Buckley, it's not exactly the same thing. It's not exactly birds of a feather, except that it's great singing. And I would just like the world to remember that Jeff was totally taken with Sonya and spoke with her at great length when he should have been preparing for his own show. He was talking to Sonya because he recognized that she was doing a kind of singing that either no one ever does, or no one ever would do or could do or would ever do again. So I just want to put her in that company because he really appreciated her, as did I. And
there's something I want to say in regard to Sonya's modesty. Anyone who's heard her or seen her perform knows that she was just something really special. And to perform with her and record with her was something really special. Just a quiet and unique vibe and just greatness that came through. It turns out that my wife has a childhood friend who also lives in Tacoma Park. Her name is Lois Wessel. And a few years back, Lois and Sonya and their friends and their kids all became friends. They were in the same grades in school and such. And after a while, Lois said to me, I met this person named Sonya, and I heard she's a singer. Maybe you know her. It's like, do I know her? And I told her all about our association, and she was very surprised and impressed. And then since then, she'd seen videos and heard recordings. But I guess the reason I'm saying this is just to speak to her incredible modesty, where some people would lead off saying, I do this, I've done all this great stuff. Clearly, for whatever reason, she was just so modest and was the last person to toot her own horn, as it were. And I think, I don't know, that sort of slow reveal is a neat analogy also to the listening experience when you check her out, because she's not flashy, but the more you listen, the more you go, oh, this is really cool. This is really cool and deserves repeated listening, which is what I've been doing lately, and checking out these fantastic videos from Merkin Hall and some of the recordings that I was just really fortunate to be a part of. And just have to thank Dick Connette for bringing that all together and making it a reality. So we all miss her dearly, and she's in our hearts. So.
I'm just trying to put myself back in the position of like being there with Sonya. I think Dick and Sonya and I spent a lot of time together in the studio, a lot of time. And there were times that it would just be Sonya and me together in the studio doing the vocals for the records. She would feel just more comfortable, just in a quiet, dark room, just feeling like there was no pressure and she could just find her way through the material and just quietly, sometimes for hours on end, sing. So I'm hearing these songs in the background and it's bringing me back. Sing the same beautiful songs over and over again in different ways and finding a way around what the material really meant to her. And it's funny because she was, I hate to use the word was, in some way she didn't see herself as a musician, which was really odd because she had the most extraordinary voice and the most extraordinary way of telling stories musically. I think that's one of the things that when you hear those songs and the way she sings those songs, she tells these great stories and you feel like somebody is with, it's unusual. You're not being sung at. She's telling you a story when she sings. And you get pulled into the storytelling by her in a way that's really, really, really unique and really moving, unlike any other singer I ever worked with. She was so modest about her skills as a singer. It's strange. I feel like she didn't see herself as being a singer, and I don't know. There was so much passion in her singing, so much joy in her singing, so much intimacy in the way she sang, that it's hard to see how she could not see herself as that being what her primary kind of artistic role was in life. It was just something else she did. She just did it. She wasn't precious about it. She didn't have any kind of artistic airs about doing it. She just did it in some natural way. I guess because she grew up with it. Because she grew up in a family that this was just like breathing. Singing was just something you did. I think she thought like singing was kind of like taking out the garbage or making breakfast for the kids or driving the car to work, or it was just something else you did. And so there was something really refreshing and about that. And I think maybe it went beyond modesty. It went into like some insecurity about that she was surrounded by artistically ambitious and artistically talented people her whole life, and she wasn't really sure whether or not she had the same talents as they did, and she didn't have the same ambition that they did. But she had all that. She had all that and more. And just this, whenever I listen to the first Last Forever record, every couple of years I'll put it on and listen to it all the way through and just think the work that we did on that record together is really one of the most beautiful things I ever did in my life. Through Dick creating this world of music and Sonya being the voice to that music. There's some things you could say in your life you're really proud of, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of in my life is doing that work. And Sonya was the voice to that work.
Sonya's voice was as pure as she was real. I think the beauty of it is that it was just her. And there are very few people that can reach a musical level of quality but still project exactly who they are. And I think when you hear Sonya sing, and in the setting of the music, there's something about a real person telling the story to you, and you feel it and you know her. And it just seems true. A lot of people pull that off as art, but with Sonya, whenever you hear the voice, you just say, that's Sonya. And it's always moved me, and it still does.
I hardly knew Sonya. I met her all sorts of times, of course, through the music of Last Forever, but I only met her once in person. Several years ago, Dick brought her and her husband to a performance that we attended downtown of a friend's play. And we all sat together and saw the play, and then went out for a bite to eat and a drink afterward. And I'll take this opportunity to acknowledge that Sonya made me feel as if I had known her for a very long time, and also gave me the feeling that I would indeed get to know her even better and for a longer time. And I, as it turns out, never saw her again. So I'm not sitting here to claim her as a long friend or a close friend, but only someone I met once who made a very particular and a very deep impression on me. And I'm happy to have this opportunity, sad as it is, to be able to share that with you.
The interesting thing about Sonya coming into this music is Dick approaches this music as a source of inspiration and a source of both intellectual and artistic, both artistic and intellectual inspiration. And he's not slavish to the traditional aims of the music. He wants to present it in a new way. And I think maybe that's something that really interested Sonya, because she was so deeply immersed in the world that this music came from. She grew up amidst in the royalty of the American folk scene. You know, she was surrounded by the people who rediscovered all this music and tried to recreate it as folk music. And Dick wasn't trying to do that. Dick was trying to say, this music has something that I can turn around and have people hear it a new way. And there was something about Sonya's voice that kind of walked this tightrope of the two worlds. Her voice doesn't sound like a traditional folk voice. It doesn't. It's a really unusual voice that way. There's something about her voice that really allowed you to hear the music in a new way, and it was perfect for what Dick was trying to do with the music. You were hearing old music set in a new way and sung in a way that wasn't slavish to that tradition either. I think maybe part of it, Sonya had training in Eastern European vocal techniques and wasn't just merely singing like an American folkie. She had skills in other folk traditions as well, which made a lot of sense in what Dick was trying to do in reframing the music. So her voice just turned out to be the perfect voice for what Dick was trying to accomplish in reframing the music.
That's great, Scott. Do you have anything else to say?
I wish we got a chance to do more music with it.
Well, it's